going to talk about the agenda of the last. We are in the last session of the final event, so I hope you enjoy so far and you enjoy the rest that we are going to present now. What we are going to do now is to showcase the road to business that we follow to get on to our business plan for the Met goal, and we'll talk a bit of the Met goal legacy, and we end up with an open discussion and a type of a round table where we will be able to share some thoughts and comments, not only about the presentation, but about the business case or the future, the legacy of Met goal project itself. So the agenda today is just that. As I said, the session will present how we came up with the business plan deliverable that came after a thought process where we were envisioning the Met goal project has a possibility, a potential business case, and the rationale we followed in order to see how this could work. And then the session will continue with Met goal in numbers, will be presented by my colleague here, Freddy, and we'll come up with some figures about the objective we planned at the beginning of the project and how we perform and how are in terms of figures, numbers, and papers, publications, and all of that. And by the end of the session, we'll open the round table. We'll start with some topics. We'll, in order to break the ice, my colleague Freddy and I will argue some topics, and then we invite you to connect, to open your mics and continue this conversation or widen this conversation in this opportunity we're having today. So, well, let's start. Why a business case, or why we are doing this session, or why we were performing a business, or we were thinking on Met goal as a business. As you, well, Met goal project, as you already well know so far at this point, is a research project based on the Horizon 2020 program of the European Commission, and one of the main objectives, or not requirements, strictly requirements, but this is one of the objectives of this type of project or this type of research that European Commission have been thinking really for the past now, even with the FP7 and so on, all projects we were required for have a vision ahead or thinking ahead the funds ends, not only for sustainability of the information we produce, all the knowledge we create, but also in terms of what is the European Commission giving to the market in terms of research and what we can produce with that. And that's why in most of the Horizon 2020 projects, there is a working package or several tasks concerning the business case or the business exploitation or business strategy, depends on the project. And then the idea is to see if we can put some value in the market after the project, because we know we create research, we are creating information. At the end, the papers get published and they last forever. But in other terms, they are putting some efforts in that sense as well. So that's why we were asked in the project to produce this. It's a deliverable that based on, well, mainly it's a sketch of a business plan. It's not a precise business plan. It's the other consider as different market penetration strategies. Also in this document were envisioned to contain the IPR in the identification. So what we are going to do today or in the next minutes is to follow and show you what was the rationale we followed or the consortium was following in order to create this document and itself the process. No, so that's why we call it the road the road to business. So this is the road, as you can see, is bumpy, and well, the document was prepared into between two documents. Well, one was a preliminary business plan, was submitted long ago now, and then there is the final version of the document that was submitted recently. Well, the first thing we did when we started working on this document, on this process, because at the end we create a document, but we were really working in a process on how to populate the document that we were envisioned to create, and also the document we needed to submit to the participant portal. So the first thing we did was to research on literature, scrape a lot of methodology, read these different authors, and think on different business strategies. So we read a lot. We were well, these are several of the well-known. Probably some of you, if you are in the SME or business companies, probably you heard about the blue ocean strategy, where the unexplored new market areas are contained, and well, and so some methodologies are contained in that book as well. And we thought as well on the lean startup as a methodology is one of the one that we showcase here. And for sure, the business model canvas that was one of the main pillars of the document, of the thought process. But let's go now and to the road that we were thinking before, right? If we follow the Paul Graham's approach on how to start a startup, we start this thought process in order to picture my goal as a project, as a business entity that could be envisioned as a startup, because startup is a small business, or even not a business, but a business idea. So, well, let's see. We started following this approach, thinking on the author mentioned about living in the future, think ahead your time. So what the world is missing, what is not out there, and we can contribute with that. Write it down and then make a prototype. And in terms of that, we call it, we can call it as well as a MVP. What is a MVP? It's not what you're thinking of, it's a minimum viable product. So let's focus on the definition of this, and then we come to the road in a second. Well, the minimum viable product is a basic element that you can propose, the functionalities, and can cover a need that the customers can buy. At the end, what we are trying to achieve is something that we can make function, will cover a need, and then somebody is willing to pay a price, given price for it. So let's think on one hand, we have a product that nobody wants to use. That's, we can think this bubble has the minimum. And in the other hand, we'll have the products that are already built, but companies that are already better financed that we has can be pictured in this hypothetical case. No? So in the area in between, there is in between both globes, there is a region, a small region, where the minimum viable lives, no? Where we have a good product for startups. So we thought that this is important, and also is key to think about this idea. So I mean, in order to understand the concept, let's think about what could be a minimum viable product. It's not because what we want to create is a vehicle. So if we want to think about a vehicle, we might start building a small vehicle and then upgrade it according to the functionality of the market or even the client's something. No, so we can start selling something to somebody who needs a vehicle for something. If we address a market where they are looking for a vehicle and we come up with a wheel, well, then maybe we fail earlier than we expected. So that's to have in mind the concept that we really got into. Once we have the prototype clear, we must continue the road. And well, here is where can differ. No, I mean, even the author encourage us to show the prototype to people in this infographics. 200 people, could be more or less. Well, and with that experience, we can iterate and improve until the customer's needs or until it fits the customer needs. And well, then continue the road, finding the partnership, funding the company, and then launch. But in the case of MedGoal, this is different because the nature of the project has many similarities in the business thought process, but in essence, well, we already found what was missing in the world. We create an idea for the prototype, but we had the idea, and then we collect the funds from the European Commission, and at the same time we were building the consortium and have people on board, sorry, that could be our early adopters and so on, as you already know, right? So, well, you know that, well, you know the schematics, but here is a schematic of how the project is envisioned, or how will fit the ICT, which will be our viable product, or will be our selling product that we are putting into the market. So for the case of MedGoal is the service itself. So we have the early adopter companies that are the people already in the sector that are testing the tool and seeing the benefits of it, and probably our first clients in the future, right? In the case of this hypothetical success. And well, going back again, well, that would be our product, and going back again to the literature, we really thought that for the structure that we needed to end up with a robust idea of what could be a business case or a business or starting point after the project ends or something, or if we want to take this in serious matters and go for it, that was the business model canvas, or the business canvas model. We thought that had all the information that we will be requiring, because we'll have clearly who are our key partners, the key partner we need to make the tool work, or the cost of the tool, or the product, the cost structure, the key resources we will need, the key activities we will perform, the value proposition are the values we are putting into the work, the customer relationship, the customer segments, and the channels, and of course the revenue streams. And with all these boxes, let's say, we will try to answer these questions along the document. So who are the key actors? What are the key activities? What are the key resources? What are the costs? I mean, we really come up. I mean, we cannot share it now, this information, because, as you know, this document is confidential, as agreed in the grant. So we cannot share all the information, but we collected the cost all the information regarding the potential customers, and especially at the end is to see if we will get the client that are willing to pay and will be profitable at the end, right? And that's what we did. We started working on this, and then we found out that there was a program that we could benefit and increase our knowledge regarding this topic. Well, this is Metcall's answer of this, sorry. This is the key partner we identify in a nutshell. This was the collected information that got there. And what I was mentioned about the program we found out is that, and you probably are aware of as well, in this effort that the European Commission, I mentioned before, on trying to build business and to put some of the investment they put in research program into the market, is to really trying to boost never is in the name, to boost the market, or to boost the project, the Horizon projects into the market. They create a program where we can, with all Horizon 2020 projects, or even projects that were created before, the FP7 or the Horizon Europe that are starting now, can benefit from it. It's a program that you register your project, and you decide which members of the consortium could participate. I mean, can participate all, but in some cases it's better to have only involved people that is directly working in the working package, or it's up to project coordinator at the end. But the aim of this is to provide some services. There are 3 services, and we asked for 2 of them, and I'll show you in the next slide. One is a service portfolio, it's a portfolio of dissemination and exploitation strategy, and that we thought that would be a good idea to know precisely some exploitation ideas in order to continue with the business plan development, which is the second service. In the case of in the first service here, we had some seminars. Some of the present here were participants in I think at least in one of them. We were assigned a tutor, an expert of the European Commission, and well, a company that works for them, or they have into this program, the Horizon Result Booster, and then we are assigned according to the expertise. And then we were told about the service. We planned about how we were going to deliver some of the requirement, because what they tend to do is to provide us with literature, and also with exercise, with work, with additional work that we obviously face with kind heart. Because one of them was the KERS identification. KERS stands for Key Exploitable Results. And then we characterize the key exploitable results, and then we perform a risk assessment, and at the same time they provide us a template where we can see the risk map after we select we select values for each of the risks following a questionnaire, and then it's a great, I mean, at the end are great tools. There are several templates that they distribute with us, and we'll be able to see in just in a glance where we were at risk, and perform the thought process to palliate those risks. And then there was a care route specification. No, at the end was once we characterize and identify all the key exploitable results, the idea is to see what we are going to do with them. All of this was followed by several, well, was during in the platform. We were communicating with the expert using that platform, and we're still in some conversation with the expert, because some comments that were made, or some final talks that they would like to host, because we we are missing some of the last seminars that they were preparing because of a schedule and some holidays and so on. But we'll do it soon. And the other services is the one that we have. Mostly the structure was the same. I won't waste more time on explaining this, but we've followed some seminars. We were distributed some templates. There was one sorry, a pre-assessment business plan for, or a pre-assessment of the business plan, a BOSAT structure where we can balance the financials, the market, the theme, and the technology. Some additional template has the lean canvas, which is quite similar to the business model canvas, but with some, let's say, go to more to the in higher, well, not a high level or something. And then we have the Javelin board, which is a board, it's a decision board where we were told to complete and see when, once you complete the Javelin board, you see if you are ready to go to business or you need some process, some thought process more. And yes, I think that was it. That completed the document, the deliverable, and we populate this is the table of content of the deliverable, and we populate with all this information we were gathering from the other processes. So now I would like to pass the word, or leave the floor to Freddy, and he will be explaining more about the results and the Medgold legacy itself. So we'll talk about again. Go ahead, Freddy.
Hello. Okay, in this part of the presentation, I would like to talk about some results that are important into the frame of the project. This is important because there are several products or several material that is important, but not necessarily can be part of a commercial business plan. As you can see, we have a lot of impression in social media, and especially in Twitter. Also, we have training material into the consortium, 7 participatory workshops in multi-language were done, 2 living labs, 28 presentation in conference, 20 participation in workshops, 7 newsletters, 7 info sheets, more than 50 original tweets, 31 YouTube videos, etc., etc., etc. So this is important because the legacy of the is not only the dashboard, it's not only the ICT. Also, it's important the participation of the different partners along the project. And this is part of the exploitable results. But as I said before, not necessarily it can be part of a business plan. Into the consortium, in starting the project, one data management plan was discussed, basically having into account that the main objective of the Medgold is to produce climate services in the agricultural sector by developing case states in the three relevant agricultural sector in the Mediterranean area. Grapes, olives, and durum wheat. And in addition, into the consortium, the replicability in the Colombian coffee case was studied. Okay, basically here to create this atmosphere of data and also the information is necessary, not only raw data, also the research, also knowledge, also time to prepare one infographic, etc., etc. Basically, is um, to put in one table all the the effort of the different partners as you saw review sessions that we talk about data, we talk about um, communication material, etc., etc. Okay, into this data management plan, we identified six categories. That is the raw data, process data, generic data, personal data, qualitative data, and publication. And this is important to take into account in the moment to think in business plan, because not only or not all information is able to be shared in this kind of business. Um, After that, we separate in three big families, the data set, products, and finally software, scripts, and libraries. In the first one, the important part to remark is the TPS. That is when you need to collaborate with third part, and so sometimes that third part is not able to share its knowledge. So behind of this, there are several considerations to take into account in a business plan. Finally, to remark, when you see the medical dashboard, or perhaps you use data to enforce or improve or create a new service, like in the case of Ranadura.net or MedGov Casa's PBDM, is behind of that. What do we have? So in this case, as Carlo explained before, we have the upstream providers that Copernicus at the part of climate change service, climate data store, and perhaps we can use several data or that is necessary to provide or create a service. So we have, for example, also into the frame of Copernicus service through the ACA, Sentinel. Also, we have information from local agri-weather stations, in the case of the olive, georeference land cover to separate and to know what is olive, what is grape, or what is wheat. Also, we use a regional digital terrain model, and also we use data Modis imagery, Landsat imagery. So here, that I would like to remark is that behind of a service, there are several information that have treatment or that vary depending of the date. Finally, in this point, we have identified at least 96 individual exploitable results. For example, methods and tools, approach and tools such as the medical dashboard, ICT, the co-creation of toolbox and modeling, several activities, like the participatory workshops, new knowledge, designing for policy making, info sheets, the policy brief, etc., innovate solutions like prototypes and journeys implemented by behind the ACT platform or tools that use the some of the process data, like is the case of PDBM, Granaduro, or Olivia platform. Um, and also this important point that is that the stakeholders engagement. So a new alliance we saw in the previous sessions, for example, with the wine sector, that this is one exploitable important result. Um, you can see, for example, we have a website that this is an important exploitable result. Also, for the society, some documents and data set were put for open in open platforms like Zenodo, and the media content. We have photographies, we have videos, a YouTube channel, etc. And also some important point, several papers that is more, a lot of papers that are accessible for free. So uh, basically this is the idea to this presentation, to show all the material that was created along the for these 4 years. Okay, in this point, again, Jesus, thank you very much.
Yes, well, now not only me. I mean, it will be something that we both participate, or and the rest. Now we address to the audience. What we are thinking, we don't have much time, but let's probably we can use 10 minutes or something to open a round table and to open some questions and so on. So what we were thinking, and given that the time we have, is that going back to the specifics, going back to the elements on the Canvas model, what we were thinking is to open now. It's an informal debate where we can comment on some topics. No, I mean, I don't know if there is a question. Maybe it's better if there's a question, but if not, what we can create now is well, let's think, for example, in the case of the customer relations, no, in terms of a hypothetical future of that. Because at the end, what we created in the business plan, or the business plan document where we perform in the medical project, is a tool, well, not a tool, a document that we can base some decisions on it, because it's not something that you now take and read and then you are ready to go to the market. No, it's a document where if we decide to go to the market, if we decide to create a society or something to go to the market, we'll have to sit down, check the business plan, and see, well, who are our customers, who is our key partners. Are all the partners in the consortium willing to do that? If we are missing some key partners, who is going to replace this? Here, that, and then open a conversation around the document, or based on the document, because all the information is collected there. So, in order to make this more informal, or in order to discuss some easier topics, or more light topics, we were thinking, for example, one of the be the customer relationship. Once we have our product on the market, how are we going to make our clients happy? Are we going to, or how are we going to catch more clients, or how are we going to do that? So we were yesterday discussing that maybe one of the ideas could be through workshops. I mean, that we have to think hypothetically that we have some already customers that are into business with us, and some other customers that could or are potential customers. So we can do workshops in order to make them on board, or through newsletter. Maybe we can produce some interesting information for them through some media channel, social media, or maybe even in our WhatsApp, or we can and we create this newsletter that will address to them in order we can do client visits. So imagine, in my case, I think workshops and newsletter could work, but also not, because sometimes are a bit, I don't know, can be, I don't know what you think, Freddy, on this. Or do you prefer workshop and newsletter, or you are more into on-site client visits, or what do you think about how you?
In my case, I think it's preferable to go to the client, because sometimes you have the opportunity to show uh, all the potentiality of your tool.
Yeah.
So sometimes this is better.
Yeah, because at the end you can visit as well the fields. Is more expensive than having a workshop or a newsletter. I don't know if somebody in the audience would like to participate and see in this case, or maybe something open that we can, maybe as we are missing a midterm, we have three topics that we could discuss if the conversation doesn't flow much. But okay, I thought it was somebody typing, but no. So
No.
we can pass to the next topic, which could be some of the revenue stream. Could be if we go to a free version of the product, and then we let the client to use it. And if you want a premium version, you can pay for it. Or the other option could be demand oriented. So, I mean, you pay as you go. I don't know. In this case, Freddy, which option would you like the most, or what do you think could be more appropriate for? Imagine that you are the one making the decision for the business.
Oof, that is relative. But of course, I think the first option, premium and premium version. The first one, premium, because if you can reach more clients, perhaps to provide one part of your tool for free,
Mhm.
it's a good strategy
Mhm.
to uptake more clients. And after that, providing extra services, you can have or create a premium version, and of course, it could be have a cost.
Mhm. Okay. Well, in that sense, but imagine that you, I don't know, want some specific, but you don't want to pay the premium version, the complete product, that you have to be involved for, I don't know, several tools that you won't use, and you want only a specific. I don't know. Maybe in that sense, something more flexible could be if we go demand oriented in that sense. I don't know if you do that with all the products, or especially with the product that came from other sources. So in that case, maybe you can cost them free because of that. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know if the panel participants want to say
To join
something
this debate. If not, we can pass to the last point of today's informal debate that is going great. And well, in terms of sustainability, there are two options, and these are the most, let's say, hypothetically ones. So one could be find a higher institution, an institution willing to fund the service and to host it and fund the cost of it. I don't know, imagine some Copernicus or something bigger would like to fund it, or go directly to the market. In both scenarios, there are some risk. I think from the perspective of the medical project, it's more risky go straight to the market, but has some literature suggests has the blue ocean strategy. I mean, it's an open market. There's nobody already doing that type of. Well, there's some competitors, but there are not many, and so it's something that to having to consideration. I don't know which of the will will Freddy go for it? I don't know.
Financial institution.
Okay,
Yes.
I think we have a question.
Yes,
Okay.
and
I,
I Freddy, I Jesus. No, just a comment for sustainability, and if we are thinking to the agricultural sector, especially in Europe, I think that the first option could be definitely better, because I'm not sure that the agricultural sector, as Medgold is focused on this sector, could be already ready to go directly to the market for this kind of service. But this is just my very very personal point of view.
Okay, well, in order to contribute to the debate, even though I could think similarly than you, but I will try to argue in order to populate a bit the debate. For example, we are this type of product that we create in MedGold has been already funded, so we already invest a lot of time and effort and to create something that will for sure give us advantage against our competitors. We are ahead of some of the market because it's really difficult that a company decide to go this far without the fact you want to start from zero. I mean, you will need to start using has the example shown before. You have to start with a skate, but we have already a bicycle. We have just to increase a bit more, and we'll have the car and something. You understand the analogy, but I was just saying in order to create the debate. I don't know what you think.
No, but in principle, I agree with you. I'm just thinking to the agricultural sector at large in Europe, and agriculture, especially agriculture in Europe, is something fully funded by European institution, and maybe this should be taken into account. So no, that's the reason why my preference is on the first option than the second one, even if I know that, especially for something more focused and for something, I would say, smaller in terms of investment, is already on the market, but maybe something quite large. I'm thinking to the dashboard, for instance, and to put this kind of prototype at operational level. I think that some money is actually needed, and so maybe I come back. I completely agree with you with the competitive advantage of this kind of prototype, but maybe for the agricultural sector, so far in that moment, maybe I think that the first option. So it should be a sort of. We could merge the two points. I think that should be something funded by international institution for a sort of free service, and then based on that we could be something close to the market, so something that someone could pay for it. So we should mix this level, the sustainability level, with the revenue stream, so which could be a sort of premium version of a sort of tool as at a basic level could be for free. That could be just an idea.
Yes, perfect. Yes, of course. I mean, we agree with that vision. And I think if somebody wants to join the discussion, or if somebody in the audience would like to comment, yes, I see Antonio.
Yes, I would like to comment on that. Actually, I was going to disagree with Alessandro, but then in the end, he came around and came closer to my mind. I think that today, and more and more so, with all the requirements that farmers have, it's absolutely there's absolutely an evolution that is going to happen, and it's already happening now. I think that we are seeing many farmers, and I'm not talking about large farmers, I'm talking about smaller farmers, and especially those who are younger, who are taking on board several services to support their activity. This could be the mapping of their crops by the drones. This could be the application of sensors for irrigation. This could be a number of other services, digital and technological services that are being more and more implemented. And there is a very good reason for that, which is the situation, the pressure farmers face today in Europe because of farm to fork and Green Deal programs is not compatible with the type of work that has been done traditionally. They have to move for a more data supported management. And in doing that, they have a lot of funding to do that. So to really think of an institution that would fund the MedGold dashboard or the services coming from the MedGold ICT, I think that is not an option anymore. I mean, I'm okay with I believe that the funding of the starting of the implementation phase, because the service is not operational yet, the transition from a prototype to a commercial service could benefit from some kind of funding, and we have discussed this morning. We heard Nicola Perroni talking about what they are thinking of doing with the agriculture of data program. So that is an option. There are other options. We heard Pau Roca from and Carlo Bontempo also from Copernicus and the OIV. Indicating that there is on one side a political will in order to make this a reality, and on the other side the capacity and the interest from Copernicus to make this happen as well. So I believe that institutionally it's this launching pad that may get some funding, but the running of the service, it has to be competitive. And it has to benefit from a fee that is going to be paid by the users. There's no way around that. And quite frankly, if this doesn't take 5 years to materialize, I think that the value will be quite evident. It will be self-evident for farmers, because they will be able to plan what they do in a much more efficient way. I have said several times that the only thing we can be sure of for the future is that the past climate will not happen again. So for a farmer that is used to use climatology as a reference to what is going to happen, this is not an option anymore. And so they need options. And this service, MedGold services, it's an option to manage the future with some confidence or with less uncertainty. And that, of course, has got the value. So it's also up to us to make it understandable how that value exists and how it may be transmitted for the activity of farming itself. But I do not foresee any possibility of exploiting this service in a continued way without having some way of getting a fee from the users. Thank you.
I completely agree with you, Antonio, if I could add. But and I think that the two layer that we are talking about the implementation and the running phase is one of the most critical. And I completely agree with you that for the running phase, so for the pay on demand, it's a very it could be the only option for this kind of service once the implementation has been realized. Then the running phase should be very close to the market, and I completely agree with you.
Okay, well, good, really good interventions. I think we all learned a lot from them, and thank you very much for these comments. I don't know if you would like to add something.
No, from my part.
Okay. Well, I don't know if we still have time, or if you are willing to continue the discussion, or if you are, I think, oh, what time is it? Do we have time to continue? Do you want to continue, or if, sorry, now I can check. And well, I think if there is no more comments or question, we can wrap up a bit the session. I think with the two last comments, we really summarize or to go to a conclusion where we really will need to sit down and see what we are going, and especially I hope we can do it if the COVID let us in a few weeks or soon, or well, or less, or more or less. And I think from our side for this session, was a pleasure to have you here attending, and thank you all the participants, especially those who comment and contribute to make it a better session. And well, see you soon, and thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you very much to all.